The Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City. The Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City. The Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City. The Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City. The Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, Nelly!
Yeah, baby.
Woo! I don't even know what the fuck that was, but it happened. It was like, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Tailgate Show on the Brawl Network. We are live post-game. That's right. Wow, what a game. I mean, what the hell can you even say? What a fucking game.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
I don't remember a comeback like that. There were 4 minutes left. We're down by 10, man.
The whole thing, like, after halftime is a fucking blur. I have a vague recollection of Mitch, like, fumbling, and then all of a sudden we were winning. Like, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, that game was like a microcosm of the 2019 season.
Yeah.
Like, it had everything. It had bad Mitch. It had good Mitch. It had bad Mac. It had good Mac. It had bad Akeem. It had good Akeem. It had everything. Like, the defense failed. The defense stood up. Like,
it damn near failed again.
Do you know what it did have, though? It did have the offense stepping up when the defense wasn't up to our standards and their standards. The offense bailed them out. The offense stepped the hell up. Man.
Our boy Vince in the chat.
Yeah,
Sup, ladies? Ha ha ha! Woo! My boy Mitchell got it done. All right.
He did.
I love you, Vince. God,
he did.
But like I was saying, man, the offense bailed us out. We wanted the offense to take the next step. Yes. 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, man.
Fourth quarter Mitch? You don't.
What is it?
Fourth quarter Mitch.
But this was an improved fourth quarter Mitch. Say what you want.
Threw in the towel. I threw in. Throw in the towel.
Think about this. 8 of 20 going into halftime.
Yes.
What do you end up with?
20 of 36. Yo,
he went 12 of 16 in the second half. And just ranked it up.
Bro.
Give him his credit, man.
Bro.
Give him credit.
I'm giving him credit, but that first half was like pain. Like, it was pain. Everything that we wanted to have happen didn't happen, except for, weirdly, we were running the ball. So, before we get too crazy.
First drive.
I didn't even get to finish talk about the run game. That's what I'm saying.
3rd and 1, and you go hurry up, quarterback sneak, and you get just slaughtered, stopped. It's just like, I like tempo usually,
but not hurry up quarterback sneak.
No, I think
that was terrible. Not like that. And I'm sorry, but it's like, what the fuck does Mitch do? He's great on the edge, and I like that it's a departure from his, from a Nagy thing that we hate. Like, I guess I like that, but at the same time, that. I just, when that happened, I was like, what? And then
I can tell you what Mitch does. Mitch throws 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and we come out with a dub. That's what Mitch does.
Well, he does.
All right, good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
He does that stupid spin move, and everybody's waiting for it.
Oh man, but then he goes, but then the fact that Nagy still can't trust a damn kicker rears its ugly head, right? Like, yes. Cairo was hitting.
That's a 52-yarder, man.
Cairo was hitting them from 58 in practice. They were the reporters were tweeting about it, like, this is your guy who you feel comfortable with.
His set it and forget it, though. It's his comfort blanket. That's his blankie. That's his bot.
Well, dude,
what are you doing, man? If that's your
I'm just saying,
let him kick.
This is your fucking guy. Let him kick. Like, let him kick. So, the first half is going along. Stafford doesn't look very good. Mitch doesn't look fantastic. The run game looks pretty exciting. Like, offensive linemen are moving people, like Cody Whitehair is moving people. The offensive
line that got called for no penalties today.
Very good by them.
So, you know what? Like, let's give a shout out to Juan Castillo. The Juan Castillo effect so far is real. They got this offensive line looking like an offensive line. They were moving with a purpose. They were moving people. Tariq Cohen was cutting inside and up like I've never seen him in his life.
Tariq Cohen running inside the tackle.
Cordarrelle Patterson was running angry. David Montgomery was running with a purpose, getting hit, breaking
Tariq,
tackles.
But think about that. No dancing. He was just hitting the hole. And I wish we would have seen more of him, actually, because he was running with a purpose. I mean, we got with 29 attempts for like 150 yards. It was over 5 yards an attempt, man.
Yes.
Like, that's insane. I mean, like that. Okay, so like you could say
3 a.m. at the Holiday Inn. It's pound.
Like you could say you could say that the Mitch comeback is not repeatable, but I think that run game is definitely repeatable. Now
you have an identity.
Now
running out of an I formation. Who'd have thought?
So we're sitting there going, okay. Now I will say this. I will say that I think that Jimmy Graham admitted this, and I don't think he would just do it to save Mitch's ass. His timing was off. But Mitch was also throwing the ball pretty high to him. But if you have Jimmy Graham, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to throw the ball high to Jimmy Graham. He's supposed to go up and get it, right?
I mean, you're supposed to throw the ball high to him when there's somebody on him. There was one point where he was wide.
The 4th and 7 to Ted Ginn, horrible. Horrible throw. I'm sorry.
There were a couple times I was a little concerned with the throws. There were some good throws, but like Anthony Miller in the triple coverage almost got his block knocked off, man. Like
and let's not forget that Coleman dropped a sure interception. That was a freaking gift wrap that it didn't work out. A-Rob looked
that one behind
lost.
Komet too. I was just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
he could have got leveled.
That's how you get your tight ends killed.
Ooh.
Right. He made a great throw in the end zone on A-Rob, and that was probably PI. His other arm was being held down. So, it was uneven Mitch, but I still thought, okay, we're moving the ball. But as I said at the halftime, one of the things that killed me is they got a good first down. I can't remember what the play was. But then what did they fucking run?
The pass to Robinson.
Right.
And
so
then the next play, they run that.
Yeah, they run a freaking jet sweep to Robinson. Like
I didn't understand that one, but yeah.
No more jet sweeps! No more jet sweeps! I outlaw jet sweeps from here on. No more jet sweeps.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Hear ye, by the Lord of royal decree. Henceforth there should be no jet sweeps in the land of the Hallis Bears.
The Hitman glasses are killing me.
Huh?
The Hitman heart glasses.
Yeah, those are fire.
Those are great.
I had to break them out, man. I had to break them out.
Excellent of execution.
It's like somebody made glasses out of like one of those truck spoilers that you put on the front for fucking. Yes, Vince is right. No jet sweeps ever again. Just say no to jet sweeps. This is your mind. This is your mind on jet sweeps. No. We are done. Although, shout out to them for running the fucking Trey Burton shuffle pass to A-Rob later. That was kind of cool, I guess. I mean,
you can't really. We hit on it a little bit, but it was really impressive to see Cohen like just go straight forward. You know what I mean? That's big.
Yes, right.
I would just want to see more of that, man, because he gets to that second level.
Good for the offensive lineman to blast a hole.
Ramer Anas says we want Cole Kmet more involved. Yes, 0.
Yes, we do.
I mean, with one target, and it was badly underthrown. I mean, Cole Kmet was very much just an inline tight end.
He was blocking his ass off.
He was blocking. Yes, no, don't get me wrong. Allen Robinson had a sick block on one big. Yeah, on that Cordell run.
4th and 1.
Yeah. Allen Robinson didn't have the greatest overall game, but he had some amazing moments. I mean, that catch.
Stretch. Yes.
Woo! That catch. That's one of the best catches I've ever seen by a Bears receiver. To lay out like that in traffic, catch the ball with all hands, turn, land, and hold on to it when your elbows hit the fucking ground and then roll over. Like, you saw his fingers were just like bent on that thing. Like, what a fucking catch.
Well, let's talk. I mean, Anthony Miller had some freaking amazing catches too, man. And that's the thing. We could talk about Miller. We could talk about Wims. We could talk about Mooney. We could talk about A-Rob, Jimmy Graham.
We can talk about the offense.
Well, I'm just saying this is a maturation of Mitch.
Dogs.
What I'm saying is, at first he was kind of getting tunnel vision with A-Rob. He started spreading the ball around to other guys, and that's a sign of maturity.
And here's what I will give him is that there were some really nice moments where Mitch stood, and I think they even mentioned it. I can't remember the color commentator's name.
Stockton.
No, Stockton was the play-by-play guy, the other guy.
Like A-Rob was covered. He looked off, like he's trying to go through he's going through his
Right,
progressions.
But what I'm saying is that we actually saw Mitch. I saw Mitch do a few things that I hadn't seen before. I don't think Mitch's footwork was overall that great at times, but I do think that I saw him actively, number one, under center a lot more, thank God. Number two, I saw him looking over the defense. Like I could see him thinking more at the line and not like scared deer in headlights thinking. Like you could see the light behind his eyes that was like, okay, this dude understands something. There's a light that has gone off. He's seeing things and he's making decisions right now. And that was good. And he had some moments where he went through some progressions really nicely.
I didn't see a lot of audibles. We don't know if there was anything, but it didn't seem like they were shifting much. But the tight ends were shifting around a little bit. But man, you really can't complain. This is we've had games where first game of the season, that Green Bay game, we were up, right? And they ended up coming back. I don't care how you get the W. Like this wasn't a good 3 quarters. But we came back and won in the fourth quarter in amazing fashion, man. This is probably one of the best comebacks I can remember as a Bears fan, really. Like,
hello, my name is Aaron, and I gave up on Mitch after I was just like, I'm gonna fucking admit it. I gave up on dude. I was like, you gotta we gotta bench this dude, and most of my timeline was
benching him at halftime.
Hell yeah, bro! I was fully into it. I was like, yes. Let's do it. Like, we can't go on like this. Because the defense looked demoralized. The end of the first half was brutal, where you cannot get a first down. You kick the ball. The special teams gives up a run back and a penalty. And then the defense just gets punched in the mouth. And then we go into half. And we come out. And what the hell happens again? Boom. Right down the field again, bro. Like I was low. I was in a dark place there for a little bit. Like
it felt like a preseason game at first, didn't it?
Well, it just felt weird because like it felt weird. It felt weird in so many ways. I mean, I think they didn't
just from the fact that this is the first live football we've seen and they've seen, and I think there was I think the defense just they kind of seemed like not conditioned at first. I think the offense would started coming back. The defense started picking it up.
Let's talk about the defense because I feel number one, Eddie Goldman's presence was sorely missed.
Yes, sorely
missed. And let me just say to all you idiots out there that were like, you shouldn't pick up Adrian Peterson. Shut the fuck up because this dude looked angry and had a purpose. And I'm sorry, but if you imagine if the carries that Tariq Cohen got were Adrian Peterson. I'm not saying you replaced David Montgomery, but Adrian Peterson gashed us, bro. Like there was a one drive where he had 3 carries for like 32 yards. He gashed us. And you know,
credit Matt Patricia for getting away from that.
All right, he
Yeah,
gashed.
well, that's in pure Patricia fashion. It's like whatever works, don't do it again, right?
He gashed us for 93 yards and 0 touchdowns, man. So he had 14 carries. Tariq had 7 with like 41 yards. If you gave Tariq double the carries, we don't know what he would have produced. It's gashed.
Maybe I'm just saying people were acting like AP was washed and the Bears should have nothing to do with him.
We knew he wasn't washed. We talked about it. He's still a 1,000-yard back.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, I know that it's like every time somebody goes in the free agent, everybody's like, "Oh, Bears." I know, but it's like sometimes you just pick up quality guys. You know what I mean?
And I think part of that is like everybody. Oh, they have to fit the system. It's a running back, man. Hand him the ball and block.
Yeah, like shut up
he
about
just
that.
came in, like yeah.
Well, and everybody, fit the system. What system? They just made up a whole new system this year because the old system sucked.
You know what though? The run, we've been screaming and crying for a run game, and we're seeing. I mean, not only a run game, but a run game with multiple different backs. Like it looked good today. I know it was the Lions, but man,
Go ahead.
Going back to defense.
Then we're going back to
this defense needs to be on the phone with Snacks Harrison yesterday.
Absolutely, and maybe Mario Edwards is going to be somebody, but like I'm just saying, like.
I know.
Hicks
missing that presence.
Hicks can't do it in the middle, and
I miss Vic Fangio, man.
Like if Bilal and Jenkins were supposed to be the nose, like in place of Eddie, they didn't. I mean, Bilal had a couple moments. He had a couple nice moments where he flashed into the backfield. Jenkins looked okay, like. I thought Buster Screen played pretty well, although he did have a penalty.
Daryl Bevell, for a good portion of that game, took Chuck Pagano to school.
Buster was all right, man. I think, like Vince said, Jalen for a rookie in his first game, he made a couple rookie mistakes. He got trucked by he got trucked there. He got Marvin, yeah. But he also had a slip up where there was the guy was basically transitioning to him and he kind of fell off the coverage. But besides that, he played pretty well for a rookie, man.
Absolutely, Jalen for the entire first half, they didn't even look at him like his man was shut down, and like the other, like he looked like he's just a guy out there, a pro, no issues. Like it's not like he really had any problems. I mean, like anybody who was. On the bring back Prince Amukamara train, no, Jalen Johnson is a player.
He's only going to get better, yeah.
And I'm sorry, Matt Forte, totally bullshit to call him out after he gets trucked by that guy and be like, oh, they got to take away the 33 from him and tag Peanut in it, and Peanut's like, hoo. It's like, do you know how pissed Forte and Tillman would be if somebody did that to them back when they were playing? Like some ex-Bears were like yucking it up about, like, bro, just calm down. Jalen almost had a pick. Jalen had the pass breakup at the end that won the game. Jalen more than held his own and did a hell of a lot better than the third overall pick, Jeffrey Okudah, who didn't do jack shit because he didn't play.
And it's not like we were getting a ton of pressure either.
No, we weren't
did not get home
at all. For pressure. Like there was one late sack by Akeem Hicks, nothing else.
And then they give up. That put them at 3rd and 17. They give up 10 to put Prater in field goal position. Luckily, he missed. Other this game's over.
We didn't have a guy on defense that had double-digit tackles, man. Not even a guy with 10 tackles.
And
that's insane.
I'm sorry, but like Danny Trevathan.
Had a rough game.
Whoo! My boy got run around by Hawkinson, and I know Vince, you're listening. That's your boy, but Trevathan and Roquan, I think both had kind of rough games. To be honest,
I think you could tell that the defense is behind.
You're not getting that push up front. It makes life difficult for everybody.
Absolutely, it does. But I just felt like here we are again where, tight ends are running wild up the middle of the field. And I saw some people say, oh, we should have let Danny go and re-sign Quitt. No. We should have kept Quitt because we still have the fucking money. Like they saved money for nothing. And now Kwiatkowski's in Oakland, or Las Vegas. And here we are, shout out to Iggy and Josh Woods. Did they even get on the field? Like, Barkevius Mingo came in and played solid, like for as many snaps as he got, and it seemed like he was out there a lot. Travis Gibson got in the game a little bit, and he got kind of trucked into the a couple times. He didn't look super great.
It's disappointing with Quinn, man. It's kind of like we don't know what's going on. Missed a lot of the off-season practices, and like I don't know what the deal is. Now it's his knee or whatever. It's like
I hope he's going to be good, but here's and this is the fear is that
we paid him a lot of money.
We did pay him a lot of money, but even when he comes back and let's say that he's healthy, here's the fear, and believe me, I hate to be fucking, like talking about gap integrity and all this crap, but if you're soft up the middle and you have two race car pass rushers on the edges, I mean, you're going to get gashed up the middle all day long. Like, it doesn't matter how fast Robert Quinn and Mack are coming off the edge if the middle is going to be porous like that.
Well, let's give Adrian Peterson some credit. The one thing that he has very well, he's always had, is vision. He can see a hole. He can hit a hole.
Well, and here's the thing is that, and I don't want to take away from this win, but Jamie Collins is an idiot and decided to headbutt the ref.
The most Lions thing ever.
Yo, like, let me just say that I hope they sign Patricia to a 25-year contract because he's the greatest Lions coach that the Bears have ever seen, as far as I'm concerned. This guy's teams are a hot mess. I mean, the penalties, the stupidity, like, I don't know what Jamie Collins is thinking, like, how he thought that was going to work. And then, listen, they lose, they lose 3 defensive backs after that? So... Like you're already not playing your rookie. I think they lost Coleman. I don't even know the other bums they have. But
injuries in game too.
That's what I'm saying. They lost.
We can't talk too much shit on that team. I mean, they dropped the ball in the end zone also.
Right. That's the other thing is that's super luck. So what are we? So that's an interesting question.
We could talk shit on the Lions in general, but this particular game was very tight.
We do. They're the Lions.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm just saying, like, how much of a different conversation is this right now if Swift catches that ball?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm actually glad I found out late about you guys going halftime because I was in a dark place, man.
Oh, it was an angry 13 minutes of yelling.
Angry.
Yeah, like Jared's on a break from work and I'm just down in the basement like
another half.
It was brutal.
Pressure medicine.
Yo, but as Vince says, Lions gonna lion, and thank God. I mean, like. Somebody said, I thought Trubisky and Nagy, no, actually not somebody, it was the Lions Brawl, said, somebody said that Trubisky and Nagy own the Lions, and I was like, no, the Lions own the Lions, and as long as the Lions own the Lions, victory will never be safe from the jaws of defeat. Never. There is nobody circles the wagons like the Lions do on themselves. Like, they are... just self-sabotage artists. Like, unbelievable. Like, I do not understand how Lions fans can watch this team and, like, look at themselves in the mirror after. How many times can you just see this type of thing happen? Like, it's relentless. And
the Bears knew that. We left a lot on the field in the first half, and they just they knew that they were beating themselves, and they just stuck to it. And they were the more talented team, and I think there's something to be said for that. If this can carry into the next game and just build upon it, man, this was big for Mitch. This was a big moment for Mitch, and I just hope it continues, man, because we have talent on this offense. This offense, look what they did in the fourth quarter. That's big. We wanted that next step. This is a stepping stone to that next step.
You talked about the Jalen Johnson tip. Eddie Jackson's right there too.
Yeah.
So the one on the Fuller pick changes.
Right.
Oh, there's so many opportunities that we had, and for it to turn over is like, this is a gift.
As good, right? Exactly. As good as Jalen, I think, played, there were a few times where it was clear that the linebacker was supposed to hand off the tight end to the cornerback, and that just didn't happen. Like, so, I think there was some miscommunications in the defense. as well. And I mean, let's just be thankful that Golladay didn't play, because I think if Golladay plays, it could be a different story. Now, I'm not to take away from the fact that we won. Like, I'm so glad we won, because I think that if we hadn't,
if Quinn would have played, it could have been a different story. We can do that all day.
Absolutely, we can do that all day. I just think, like, positives. I liked the moment that Khalil Mack had, where they showed him on the sidelines, like, more animated than I've ever seen him. Like, he was fucking pissed, to the point where, like, no defensive players apparently did post-game media. I think maybe Hicks eventually got on.
Hicks did,
but Weeder was saying, like, no defense. And honestly, I think the defense should be pretty embarrassed overall about this performance.
I agree.
I don't think they should hold their heads high at all. Like, they're supposed to be the stalwarts of this team. But I like the way Mac was a vocal leader and got pissed off, and I want to see more of that from him.
And I think they will be. I think this is just a blip.
I think the defense kind of liked the smell of its own farts for a little while. It's like, oh, we're just that good. We're just
yeah. I mean, because it's another,
like that Miami game. Remember that one?
Yeah, because it's another offseason of everybody ball washing the defense. You know what I mean? Like, including, the reporter and us too, and we all do it, but the reporters, how many questions of the new guys or everybody did they get? Would you like playing with Khalil Mack? Do you have any good Mac stories? Tell us about Khalil. What kind of toothpaste does Khalil wear? What does he use? Whatever does he fucking wear? I don't know. Too much bullshit. Like, too much ball washing of the defense. Like, I'm sorry. It's just, get over yourselves a little bit about that. And these guys, I think they have to, I hope that this is a wake-up call for this defense to be like, yo, this is not going to work again. You know what I mean? Like,
I'd probably be a lot more heated if we lost, man. But
oh my God,
they just
honestly, by all rights, we should have.
They just didn't look like they were conditioned. They looked like they were winded at times, but they ended up pulling it out. I mean, they didn't give up any points once we started going on our run. So
no, that's true. That's true. Just the end of the end of the first half was a killer. The end of the beginning of the second half was a killer. Yeah. And then towards the end, again, like, it's like I felt like, oh, we got him. And then all of a sudden we just didn't. Like, and again, it's over the middle, up the seam that we keep getting hit, Well,
we're doing the go to the game tonight, and the first three quarters, I'm like, is it going to be Santos or Patterson?
Right. Exactly. I mean, I think the Bears only had one punt return, which Tariq almost got himself killed. Getting hit there when he should have probably fair caught it. So
that was dangerous.
Yeah, but it was like one of the guys from Windy City Gridiron put up a thing. It was just basically like, was this performance basically justified every opinion that people could have of Mitch? If you didn't like Mitch, you had stuff that you can latch onto. If you do love Mitch, there was stuff for you in this game. And if you're just indifferent on him and you don't know what the fuck, well, there was something for you in this game too. Because, I mean, this game, it just had everything. Like, it's like it really, like, it was really just everything. Like, I thought Nagy had great moments and Nagy had sketchy moments. But it was different. I will, the offense is different. So I'm happy about that. I do think that some of the third quarter by Mitch was brutal. There's no way to sugarcoat that. The first half, I think, was as much the receivers as it was him. I'll give him that. I don't think it was all on him. I think the receivers were out of sync. And I think, Jimmy Graham didn't have his timing down. And then there was a couple misplays. But overall, I felt like
a little inaccurate at times.
Yeah. I felt like his command was good. I felt like for the most part he looked improved. But then there was a lot of the overriding feeling of, listen, this is the same old number 10. Roller coaster Mitch, the Mitch coaster. We rode the Mitch coaster again. You know what I mean? At least it came out on the right side of things. But
I think you're understating that, man. The way he came back, 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Yes, I know, but like there's still, and I don't want to do this, but it's like it's against the imploding, injured Lions, and we needed a dropped pass in the end zone to seal it.
All right, let me just throw this out there. He had a better first game than Brady, Breeze, Watson, let's see, Wentz, Rivers, Cam, Carr.
Rivers threw a couple of picks, but Rivers had like 450 yards.
Mahomes' stat line wasn't much different. End of the game tallied up.
No, I mean, stats wise, yes. It
doesn't matter, and to me, it doesn't matter when in the game it happens. It happened at the most important time in the game. That says something.
Vince says you can see the laser influence in the O. I mean, whatever it is, you want to call it the laser influence, you want to just call it their new thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm down with this. Like, run the damn rock. I'm for that. You know what I mean? Like, I want, if we can run the ball and get 5.5 yards a carry every time, that's sustainable. I'm into that.
This is a joint effort influence for everybody they added. They added guys that are more familiar with what Nagy wants to do.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, so, shout out to Nagy for getting it done. And for those guys to
stay the course and staying focused, man.
Right. And I did like that. They didn't panic. They didn't abandon the run. No matter how much they were down, they still ran the ball. It's part of their DNA now, I hope. So that's a good sign. I felt good about that. And I do feel like, there's a lot of rust. I mean, you mentioned Brady looked like crap. It's not that easy. Like, they had the same things that we, are talking about. Oh, well, Mitch maybe didn't win a legitimate quarterback competition, so there's only 10 practices. Well, there was only 10 practices. And, and you said, I mean, what? Mitch got half of the snaps in 10 practices. So, let's just, I guess, at the end of the day, feel like we got out of there with the damn win, right?
Exactly.
And, I guess what more can you want?
I mean, you said in the chat, well, Wilson. Well, yeah, Wilson. We knew that we don't have Russell Wilson.
Right, but and I'm not saying this to downgrade Mitch, but Gardner Minshew, 19 out of 20, 3 touchdowns, 173 yards with a brand new offensive coordinator, a rookie running back, some rookie wide receivers, beats the Colts. It's you can't completely excuse everything that happened with Mitch, to preseason shit.
No, Mitch had 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. It started off slow.
Yes, it started off slow, and they should have had more. I mean, to be quite honest.
I mean, I almost feel like the scoreboard should be 10-0 right off the rip. And if Mitch plays that's the thing, man. This he's been like this. Like if he plays in a desperation mode, I hope he can start turning that on in the first quarter, so we can get four quarters of that.
Right now, we are going to bring on a guest. It is one Patrick Sheldon. Welcome to the show. There he is, the bearded one, Patrick Sheldon in the house. What's going on? Welcome to the Tailgate Show. What's cracking?
Thanks for having me, guys. Great to talk to you all again.
Got to bring it back.
Absolutely. It's been a minute that Brian's throwing that belt in your face right now, Patrick.
I know, it's been so long, man. I got like a 6-foot beard growing now.
I know. You look like the lead singer of a System of a Down right now. I don't know what the hell's going on. I bring on Patrick. It's like, wake up a little Omega.
That's rather swift.
Doing my best Rafi impression.
Oh yes, I love that.
So
we called Patrick on the banana phone right now.
How are you feeling about Mitch, man?
You know what? I got to be honest. I don't know that I feel any different than I did going into the game. I mean, the fourth quarter was tremendous, right? But even within that fourth quarter, he had a couple of head-scratching throws, and you could go probably pick any series of that game, and within that series, you've got a microcosm of what Mitch has been his whole career. Just a
Yeah.
great throw on target, and then one where you look at it and you go, where was he going? So I don't know. Maybe he's working out some of the kinks from a truncated preseason, but I gotta, I tweeted it the other day. I'm in show me mode for 17 weeks this year. I'm trying not to get too high or too low off of one game, but if I had to evaluate the whole game, I would say it looked very similar to Mitch of the past.
Yeah, and that's what we've been saying. But the offense.
I thought it was. We always talk about fourth quarter Mitch, but I thought this was a next level fourth quarter Mitch. To be honest,
Well, I think I would say this: the offense around him looks better, and this is when some of the people would say, "Why do you have faith in Mitch?" Because certainly, I think all four of us can own the fact that we've been very hard on Mitch, and rightfully so. I'm not trying, but people will ask you, "Why do you have faith in Mitch?" And so what I would say to them is, look, the things around him are better, right? In theory, adding to the non-existent tight end group the way that they did is an upgrade. I don't care if it's just Jimmy Graham and you paid him too much and blah 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 and a rookie. It's still better than what they had last year, so that's an improvement. The offensive line, maybe they didn't go out and get big special signing, but they look different. I mean, I think the pass pro was kind of rough, but their run blocking and the way that they ran the ball was significant. Like that is, if we're just gonna say this till the end of fucking time. If Mitch can just be somewhere in the middle between bad Mitch and insane laser fourth quarter Mitch, and we can run the ball, everything should change, right? But third downs, 0 for 7 on third downs in the first half. Brutal. Like, after that first half, 8 for 20, 0 for 7 on third downs. Anybody that was low on Mitch, and lots of people were calling for Foles to come in, I think they had every right to be. Like, you're not a bad Bears fan if you were like, fuck this. Because I felt like, Patrick, and you speak to this felt like game 17 of the 2019 season. It's like nothing had really changed except for the run game. Otherwise, we were just picking right back up where we left off. It all felt so familiar.
Yeah, it did. I mean, even he was great in the fourth quarter. I'm not going to take that away from him, but you look at the pass right before the Wims touchdown, and I was going crazy. Like, I don't know what he was looking at, but it was almost picked off. He had Montgomery open, and he threw it right into the defender's arms.
Yeah. So, what a gift.
Even within that quarter where he was laser focused, he still had some moments where you're like, I remember that. That looks familiar. But again, I'm not going to take anything away from the fourth quarter. He was tremendous. And my hat off to him. But one of the things that jumped out at me, guys, I don't know if you talked about it, but I don't think I've seen Mitch under center that much in the last 2 years as much as I did today.
Thank God, too.
The opening drive, we went I formation.
Yeah.
Offset I. It's like, oh, look, we're going to run the ball. And then third and a foot, and we can't get it because we're running hurry up quarterback sneak.
Yeah.
Right.
It may have been the adult beverages today, but I don't recall an RPO. Did they run any? Did I miss them?
No, there was a really bad shotgun run at one point that went almost nowhere, but I don't know if I would have called that an RPO. I think it was maybe on that last atrocious offensive series before the end of the first half where they were just like, what is happening right now? But otherwise, we did talk about this earlier. I felt like Mitch was coming up under center, and it was like his focus was changed. He was forced to look at the box, and I felt like, look, his brain is working.
Yeah.
Hey, big pause there. Big pause.
Like, look at the big brain on Brad. At that moment, like it was like, oh, look at him. He's like seeing things, and it was so quiet. You could hear, he's making calls, and they're not just window dressing. Like they sound like okay, he's seeing something here. But I do think that the receivers were not on the same page as him a lot. You know what I mean? Like early. And then they came around. So, I will say that if he can build on this, then I'm back in. You know what I mean? Like
I felt like he got through some progressions too early. Even though the completion percentage wasn't that great, you could see that he was actually working the field with his eyes a little bit. It's like, this is different. This is something different.
And thank God that, just the Lions are going to lion because they went back to the man coverage. And, I mean, you just have to thank Patricia that he's such an awful, awful coach. I mean, because what a terribly disciplined team. And just, I mean, like, I feel horrible for Matthew Stafford, to be quite honest, because, like, it's like this poor guy. Just what a waste.
And I understand what Patrick is saying. The first 3 quarters did feel like the same old Mitch at times. It really did. But when it was on his shoulders to pull it off, I mean like I was saying earlier, Patrick. Do you remember a comeback like this in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left, down 10?
No, not from him. No, it was
They
phenomenal.
were down 17.
Well, I'm talking with the 4 minutes left. They were down 10 points.
It was incredible. I mean, it was when he there's no chance. I mean, that throw to Miller, I wouldn't have bet money on him hitting water if he thought of a boat. And he put that thing right where Miller, only Miller could catch it. I mean, it was,
and that's the throws that he said, I need to make. The outside the numbers throws. You have to. We need it if he can consistently drop it in the bucket like that on those throws. It's a whole different ballgame. But what I was missing the most is where was anything over the middle, any seam stuff, any tight end.
Well, Mooney got a couple. Mooney had the play action where he got to settle in the zone and he dropped down and hit.
He had to catch it on his knees. Yeah, I saw that one.
Mooney made a couple of great catches on some not so great passes from Mitch. I mean, Tariq toward the end there made a one-handed grab, spun around, stopped, didn't go to the sidelines. Shout out to Tariq. He was all about that action in this game. He was all about the middle of the field, and he almost got that damn first down on a it was driving me nuts because like Mitch couldn't even hit Montgomery in the flat. There was one where if he had hit him in the flat, that would have gone for about 20 yards. And then the one that would have been a touchdown, but he couldn't get it over the defender. That was a good play by the defender, but still.
I was listening to Greg.
The overthrow to Harris.
Yeah, that was a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I was listening to Greg's show earlier though, and they had a guy on that was saying like a 5th-round pick to be able to play the first game like this is the chances are pretty slim, man. Like Mooney was impressive.
This was a good game for Ryan Pace's draft picks. Like, Kmet didn't get targets, but he was blocking and he's fine. He's in there. You know what? Like he's a functional tight end. Jalen Johnson played his ass off. Shout out to him. Big boy plays left and right. Made a couple bad plays, but like nothing worse than what we saw Mukamara do every single game last year. And this is a rookie, So like I was stoked with his game. Mooney looks fast, looks smooth, got good hands. I think they're going to get him more involved as time goes on. I didn't really see much. Did you see Vildor in there really much? I didn't see him get any snaps to speak of. I saw Travis Gibson get a few snaps. They didn't look too great. But good stuff, I think from Pace's draft picks. I mean, there was a moment last week where I was like, damn, we got a lot of rookies on this 53. That's either good or super scary. Is this going to be a nightmare because all these young guys don't show up?
I got to ask Patrick.
Yes.
What do you think about this defense?
I mean, I don't understand why Matt Patricia didn't run the ball. Everybody's talking about the lack of pressure they got on the quarterback. But to me, the bigger issue, which wasn't exploited nearly as much as it should have been, was their run defense. So I wasn't really happy with that aspect, but I saw a lot of people dogging the defense and their lack of pass rush, but they played a really good first half. They didn't get to the quarterback, but they held him to 6 points until that crazy sequence by Nagy where he thought, I don't know, we can get to that later. That was a nightmare. But I think they were a little deflated for a while. I think they kind of felt like, here we go again, held the team to 6. We can't put the ball in the end zone. And
I kind of feel like the fans were projecting that onto the defense, like this sense of deflation. I kind of think they hit the wall a little conditioning wise. That's where I'm going to be.
That's where
and they talked about how they needed something to get the energy because there was no crowd energy. You know what I mean? And even if you're in an opposing stadium, you feed off of the opposing crowd as well.
Detroit, Detroit, it'd be Soldier North. We know this.
Well, yes, there will certainly be Bears fans, but whatever. I mean, even so, like you still need that. I mean, physically, there is energy in the building when there are 70,000 people there, and that energy is physically missing. Like you want to, say that that's not a factor. That's definitely a factor. So they had to. I do not think the defense was giving up. I don't think that at all, and we already mentioned how Mac had his impassioned speech, that they captured, and that's great. But I don't think they were giving up. I think they hit the wall a little bit. I mean, I think, they have not. I mean, we heard for a fact that in the 10 practices, none of them were live defense. It was all thud at most, So, shit's a little different. In the words of Mike Tyson, everybody has a plan till they get punched in the mouth, and I mean, I think that's what you saw, and then I think the defense dug deep and they came back to life a little bit.
Yeah,
somebody's cracking a little bit.
Yeah, somebody's crackling and popping like Rice Krispies up in this joint. That's all right.
Let's stop for a commercial break.
Right, that's right. Yes, commercial break at 47:07. So, what else? What else do we? Brian, what else jumped out to you?
As far as
anything, what else jumped out to you about this game?
The biggest thing that jumped out. I mean, maybe I'm thinking too much about it, but it really, like I said earlier, was Mitch, man. Mitch stepping up in the fourth quarter, put the game was on his shoulders, having our offense bail us out for a win. That's big for momentum. I think we showed in the first half we had the talent, things just weren't clicking, and we left a lot on the field. And our defense had a game that they're probably not going to have the rest of the season. They're going to step up, man. So I think this is definitely a team that could be poised for a playoff run with Mitch at quarterback if he can stay consistent.
We're going to go playoff run already? Woo!
If Mitch can stay consistent, man, because I don't think this defense is going to play that bad all season. I mean, this was an anomaly.
No, I mean, listen, if this is the game, if this is the what the fuck game the defense had and we got it out of the way early and we still got the win, awesome. Fuck yes. That's great because the defense is going to have one of those.
Remember 18, I brought it up before. We hit 18. We came out against Green Bay, guns blazing, and they ended up coming back, and we had a great season. This season, slow start, really good result at the end, and you can carry that momentum, man. This team has potential to have a really, really good season, and last time I checked, we're tied for first place.
I just think, to come back and win this game was just so important. I mean, if they had lost that game, I think it would have gotten really ugly. Do I think that Foles would have started game 2 after Mitch led that comeback if it fell short and it was the defense's fault? No, I don't. I think Mitch played well enough in that fourth quarter to earn himself a second start even without the win, because really, I mean, you're going to ultimately got to blame the defense at that point.
And I think if you gave me a second shot at that answer, really the thing that surprised me the most is how many people were involved. How many people on offense, all the running backs all held their own. Multiple receivers were used. Mitch didn't get tunnel vision like he normally does when he panics. He spread the ball around. Multiple guys got involved. We wanted to see the offense take that next step, and I think this is the move in the right direction for that.
And Anthony Miller, although he got off to a slower start, stayed with it and got into the action. And Nagy mentioned that guys were coming up to him even when they were down and saying, "Yo, I can beat this guy. Like, we're good. We got this." Like they didn't give up. And he mentioned that, he's like, we proved that last year that we can stick together. But like, I think that what maybe you're seeing is just like you said, more involvement, more parts, more heads to the monster, not just A-Rob and Mitch and nobody else, like it felt like, and I liked, I got what I wanted, which was that we ran different stuff with different personnel out of the same formations. And to me, that's so important. Like, there was times where it's like they were still in the same formation, but Patterson was at running back. And then they were in the same formation, but Montgomery was at running back. And the same thing at Cohen. Like, that's what keeps the defense off balance, and that's what makes the tendencies hard to see on tape, is if the formation and the personnel grouping is not a dead giveaway. So that to me was exciting, because it was like, oh shit, I don't know what's going to happen right now. And, we all watch as much Bears as anybody, so if we feel like we don't know what's going to happen, I guarantee you the Lions didn't know what the fuck was going to happen with some of those plays. So that was cool. So I feel like, Jimmy Graham said that he felt like he should have made the catches, and I think maybe one of them that was on him, and then the other one was on Mitch. So, I feel like they left a lot of meat on the bone that they could probably go back and get.
And Graham almost had 2 touchdowns, so that would have been like half his quota in Green Bay.
Jerry, are you talking and are you on mute? Oh, no, okay. Look at your mouth is moving, but no words are coming out. Patrick, you're muted. I don't know if you saw that. Sorry. If you got to unmute if you want to say something.
Hello. Am I back?
There we go. Cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I was going to ask Patrick, what do you think about the offensive balance? We ran the ball pretty effectively. I mean, we don't want this to be a team where, you mentioned earlier where some quarterbacks threw for 400 yards. We don't want Mitch to be that 400-yard passer. We are a team striving for balance. I mean, that's one thing that I noticed.
I wouldn't mind
the philosophy this year as opposed to years past.
Well, if he throws for 400 yards, I want us to score 48 points. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that to be because we're behind. So, Patrick, what did you think about the offensive balance?
Yeah, it was great. One of the people I don't think got enough credit today is Nagy. He took a lot of heat last season in the offseason. Everybody wanted to see if he would adapt and come up with a scheme that fit Mitch, and I think he did that today. I think he developed a scheme and kind of, we'll see if it continues, but at least for the first game, had a completely different offense on the field. And I think it was one that accentuates Mitch's strengths and hides his weaknesses. I think we need to be careful as fans. I already saw some tweets out there about, we need to be a little bit more aggressive. We need to open it up, and kind of can't have it both ways, right? We criticized Nagy when he got creative and pushed the ball downfield, and then we said, well, we need to rein it in with Mitch, and we're doing that. So you got to let that play out.
I think you could argue that I think you could argue his aggression at the end of the first half is what cost us points.
Yeah, that was a terrible series. Absolutely terrible. I don't know what he was thinking, but the last thing that defense needed was to get right back on the field after. That I think they looked a little bit winded at the end of the first half, but
totally agree.
Yeah, it was great to see a little bit more balance. It was great to see him commit to the run, even when they were down.
He didn't get away from it.
Ran the ball a couple times with Montgomery, and I think last year you would have seen him firing the ball over the field in the second half. So That was good. We just got to be patient. It's not going to be the exciting offense I think you probably wanted when Nagy came over, and there are going to be games where the run game's probably not going to work. I think we need to. Very excited about Mitch's performance, but I'm also trying to keep a little perspective, right? Trufant was out for some of that fourth quarter. Coleman was out. Okuda wasn't starting. Darius Slay's no longer there. So their secondary, which he handles regularly, was pretty depleted. So again, I'm in a 17-week show me mode this season. I'm just going to sit back and let them prove that he's the quarterback they said he was this training camp.
Well, and I liked what Mitch had to say, because somebody, I think it was Adam Johns, tried to lead him with this question, and he's like, Nagy talked about you sort of being the author of your own story now, right? Like, what can this do and this comeback do to help you or to create that story for you? And he didn't really take the bait. Like, he was just like, it's one game. Obviously it was a good win, like this and that. Like, I don't think he really took the bait, and I do think he's actually like living in the moment and is not getting too ahead of himself. But he did acknowledge that would be easy to have done. You know what I mean? Like, I made that GIF, where it was like Mitch coming off the thing as Kirk Cousins, like, you like that, because he could easily have done that. He could easily have thrown a big fuck you at the end of that game, like, I'm Mitch Trubisky, bitch, but he didn't. And not that he should have, but neither should have Kirk.
That sounds threatening.
Not either should have Kirk Cousins at that moment, but I just think, I think he has the right mentality about it, and he knows that, that he's got to prove it. I mean, I think he has to prove it. Like, I need to see 3 good games in a row from him, because that's never happened. So,
and you got your chance. You got the Giants next. I don't know what kind of team they got.
I mean, this sets up well. We've said this before. We all hope that the reason that they chose Mitch wasn't because of the schedule, but it does set up well for him to get some momentum going, right? So that's good. The next thing we want to cover is, or what's going to be a recurring segment is In the Trenches. So, Jer, we're going to talk to you about what you saw from the big boys, from the Hogs, from the down and dirty, from the knuckles in the dirt, from
where 74,
from where it gets mean and nasty.
Dirty.
Yes. What did you see from the front line of the battle?
Consistent push up front. Consistent push with the run game. Also, keeping in mind, we're talking about the Detroit Lions. They're not snacks. It's not that crew. There were running lanes there. Our running backs hit the holes. It was, as far as our offensive line concerns, today was a really good day for them. They gave up a few pass pressures off of, Ifedi, I think, gave up a couple. And Mitch somehow seems to always spin into one, So today's offensive line performance, really good. I think it's a building block. Castillo, kudos to you, man. You got this team going so far. Now let's do it again.
Well, that's
I think Ifedi, I think he played a heck of a game, actually.
He gave up one where it came off of his side, and he just didn't adjust quick enough. It's a pressure, but they're paid too. They're paid players.
No penalties, though. No
penalties. Although Leno gave me a heart attack on the one where he's calling out the encroachment, and I was like, "You better be right, dude," because that would have been a bad false start at that moment. Although, shout out to Leno for falling on that fumble. That was a huge play. Like, a big guy like that running 20 yards down and getting on that fumble. Like, Joe Judge would have had a hard-on for that one, because big man got down and got on that ball. Like, that's, if they get that ball right there, whole different game.
I think it also goes to show you that the offensive line was actually in shape.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And that comes with, we talked about the quarterback and the inconsistency where they're running ones half the time and half the time. The offensive line's the ones,
Right.
So they're consistently together. Still a lot to build on. James Daniels looking more and more the part.
The best part about James Daniels is that I didn't notice him all game.
That's the best thing you want to be as a lineman. You don't want to get your name called ever.
All I noticed was that the ball was moving and people were moving backwards. I didn't, it's like normally, you don't notice that a guy unless they're doing something bad on the offensive line for the most part. So
I think you've got something you could hang your hat on as an offense for the first time in 2 years. I think you might have already started, possibly. Now, this is total week one overreaction, but you could build something behind that offensive line. You run that offset eye, you run power. There's something there.
Absolutely.
If Mitch can average 279 yards for the rest of the season, we're going to have our first 4,000.
We ran for 159. When's the last time we did that as a Bears team?
It's been
without
a while,
Mitch
man.
running for 70 of it.
It's been a while. Well, so what now? Unfortunately, we've talked about the good stuff in the trenches. What about the defensive line? Tough stuff. Tough sledding.
Paging Eddie Goldman. Get him back now. Get him back yesterday. I don't care.
I think they need to bring in snacks.
I think there needs to be a stopgap in place for that that nose tackle. It's rough.
I just say, I feel like there was no nose tackle. Like, it seemed like every time.
Bilal flashed a couple of times. Where
But
we were he's undersized. I mean,
we were.
For a nose tackle, he's 305, 315, somewhere around there. You want your nose tackle to be 330, 335, right. Somewhere in that area,
Well, it just, I just felt like all I saw was Akeem getting handled most of the game.
It was rough, man. It was a rough game up front.
And so he missed. I mean, just like Goldman missed Akeem, well, vice versa. Akeem was putting in a lot of effort. I don't think Akeem is hurt. I just think Akeem was not getting home. So, that was kind of rough to see.
Roy Robb kind of disappeared.
Yeah, Roy Robb had a couple moments. But my biggest issue, is that if we can get gashed up the middle like that, that's not great.
It's kind of a weird year with the COVID and the offseason being so weird. I think it's really, I mean, for the whole league, it's going to take a while to feel out where these teams are at and who they are.
I really believe that all the defenses in the NFL are behind. They just are.
Yeah,
you can see that pretty consistently. You looked at the other game in the NFC North. You got
the Vikings got smacked.
87 points.
I would never want to cheer for the Packers, but the Vikings got boat raced. Both those teams gave up a shit ton of points. What was that? 43-34 or something?
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Good Lord.
So your defenses are already behind. One sample size. I don't see it being a prolonged issue. But if you feel like it is, and you need to shore up that defensive line, don't give me the excuse that you don't have the money. You just saw the Rams sign their cornerback because they don't have any money either, right? Gave him the biggest contract and as a cornerback.
Well, but that's the thing is that's the whole point of extending dudes is because then you can mess with their money for this season and the next season.
Right.
Like that's why you extend so you can kick the money down the road. Dustin Reagan Padilla in the house says we need to get Snacks Harrison on the phone now. Yes, we need to call Nabisco and bring us some snacks. God damn it. We need to be Rex Ryan and go get a snack.
What do you think, Pat? What do you think, Patrick? What do you think about the defensive line?
Yeah, like I said, I don't know why they didn't go to Peterson more. I mean, maybe, learning the offense or wasn't in the best shape, but I mean, he was averaging 6.5 yards a carry. I mean, he had 98 yards on limited carries. I don't know if I was Patricia, I would have just kept feeding him the ball, but they didn't look good against the run at all. And I don't know what the answer is if they if they can go out and get Harrison, or they're going to have to do.
Well, we have to see what Mario Edwards is going to be. I think they're not now. The reason, and as this was mentioned by a few people online, Brad, who's now with the dreaded PFF, formerly of what was he, OTC, Over the Cap before. He mentioned rightly that you are not going to see a lot of these vets get brought in until week 2, because if they were on the week 1 roster, their contracts would be guaranteed for the whole season. So you're going to see some moves. I just don't know if the Bears are going to be the ones making them, because I think they're going to, they're going to want to see what Mario Edwards is before they go out and make a move. Now, Snacks was all over Twitter.
Dude, Mario Edwards is who he is at this point in his career. I'm sorry.
Right, but he's a guy that the Saints didn't necessarily want to cut.
He's not a guy. He's not a guy that you don't sign people for because you're waiting for some breakout, though. I don't.
I know, but this is weird, man. Like, what the hell's going on with Allen Robinson's contract?
Why are we gonna pay Allen Robinson when we don't know we have a quarterback consistently?
Because even if you are the quarterback, you still need an Allen Robinson on this team.
Mitch balls out, you have to pay him.
So what?
You can't pay everybody, man.
That's why you extend Allen Robinson and you get his cap hit really low. There's no downside to signing Allen Robinson to a 5-year, $80 million contract.
Hey, Rob, but I don't know why everybody wants to get into off-season talk. He has another year on his contract.
Allen Robinson
they extend him great.
Allen Robinson doesn't fix the defense, first of all.
Right, but you still can't sell me on the downside of not extending Allen Robinson. Who fucking cares about the McCaskey's checkbook? Sign the man. This is the Bears. We're not supposed to be this middling, mom and pop fuckwad team that's just like, well, I don't know. We're clipping coupons this month, George. Like, cut that shit out and pay this man his money. Did you see that catch?
Yes.
Good Lord. Like, that catch is worth the price of admission. Come on. Like, I know it's like kind of a simpy Bears fan thing to do, to be begging for this guy to get extended, but it's like, we need this cat because the Chicago Bears deserve to have top flight players on offense for once in my fucking lifetime. Like,
yeah.
I just want to see it.
Yeah, Patrick, go ahead.
Man. He needs to get extended regardless of what the quarterback situation is next year. You can't go back to, whether it's Mitch or you bring in a rookie, you can't go back to throwing to guys like Kendall Wright and, Joe Shit the Ragman. I mean, you gotta bring in.
I love A-Rob, don't get me wrong. I just the constant extend A-Rob. It's like, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
Well, I don't think it's gonna happen this season. It's not happening this season at this point. I mean, that ship has sailed. So what they have left is the franchise tag, which is going to be $19 million at this point, or transition tag, and then you let him play the market, and maybe they can get lucky like Kyle Fuller, and someone will give him a stupid contract, and we can be like, sure, we'll offer that, like, we'll sold. But
it could still happen. We'll see.
But what you say is correct, is that you don't want to be in the position where Mitch all of a sudden balls out and you have to franchise him.
I agree with Damien, by the way. When we had Marshall and Jeffrey, I was a little pissed that we didn't.
You're right. We did have Marshall and Jeffrey. I've talked to Marshall before, but like that was a long ass time ago at this point. Like, it feels so long ago to me. And we went through the 2015, 2016, 2017, not 15, but 16 and 17 were horrifying in terms of what we were running out there at wide receiver. Like, it's just like, it would be so.
Think about Mitch's rookie year. We're playing Baltimore, and he has to throw a jump ball to Kendall Wright.
Trey McBride, Josh Bellamy, the alleged criminal mastermind, by the way. Bezo bred it up.
Bezo about that soap on the road.
Bezo Bezo, it's like, bro, you took out PPP loans for Drip Incorporated. Get the fuck out of here, Bezo! Like, are you kidding me, bro? Like this dude is buying like M5 body kits for BMWs with a PPP loan and shit. Like, what are you doing?
It's plastic. But yeah,
brutal. But that's what we had at receiver. I mean, I was looking up pictures of Bezo to find that stupid picture of him with his shirt of himself that he was wearing.
It's out there.
And there was articles written by people who you actually kind of respect that said this: is Josh Bellamy the Bears' answer at wide receiver? And this is when Cutler was still there. Like, can Josh Bellamy, when he was still wearing number 11 before he switched to 15, can he be the answer at wide receiver? What a horrible reality that is.
But to go back to the original point where we're talking about the defensive line, Snacks Harrison, yes, you've got to take all calls. I really feel like you have to really look at all possibilities. I mean,
yes. I mean, let's make this team better.
You can't have a one-legged Adrian Peterson rush for nearly 100 yards on you out of nowhere.
No.
Off the street. Now, Adrian Peterson's a hell of an athlete. Probably one of the better running backs of our time. Regardless of what you think about him outside of the game. When he's in between the tackles, he's a tough SOB.
And he loves to kill the Bears. Loves it.
I mean, I think our run defense hasn't been this. That Raiders game really threw our defensive line off a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Well, yeah.
Chop block city.
Exactly.
Or cut block, I should say a cut block. It's legal.
Yeah, I mean, listen, W's a W's a W. I'm all for that. I'm with
We're
you.
happy.
It's so much better than the alternative. I mean, because if the feeling that I had at the end of the first half and after that third quarter had continued, man, I was.
You were so dark. I was like,
bro, it was bad. Like,
You needed to go find some shrubbery, bro. It's like,
yes, send me to the forest. Pick me a shrubbery.
Yeah, I guess I'm not gonna lie. Kind of.
Bring me a shrubbery.
I missed that today. I'll tell you that after the first three quarters. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, Twitter got dark, man. I saw some Braggs was dark. Braggs went dark. Greggy Sunshine was dark as hell for a minute there. He was just like, no, like this, like he had visions of going on ESPN 1000 and having to bow down to Mitchell from Des Plaines. Like, no, bro. Like, it was.
I think the next game is going to show a lot about this offense, about this team.
Yeah,
the Giants.
So let's move on to the Giants. What do we think they're going to be?
I gotta watch tomorrow. See what direction they're going in. Yeah.
Yeah.
That have to be later in the week.
You got a young quarterback.
Yes, the young quarterback who looked good at times. You got Saquon Barkley healthy. Wide receiver core Shepard, is a decent player. Evan Ingram, is he healthy at tight end? He can do some things.
I'll break down the coach's film, and then we'll have to chop it up after that.
I mean, I think
your go to the game yet.
That's right. Next up, after we hit the trenches, we got to hold to the HMD studios. Go to the game.
Go to the game. You want me to do that now?
Yes, sir. Hit it up.
We'll talk about the Giants.
I was going back to the first three quarters. Like I said, I was going back and forth between Santos and Patterson.
Strong plays.
Santos.
But it was
Santos.
You know what? It was Money Mitch, man.
Oh,
fair.
Fourth quarter, it was Mitch. So that's my go to the game. It's pretty self-explanatory. He came through when he had to, and it was impressive. I know it was a little sample, and like Damian said, there we can't mess around with other teams like Green Bay like that or Minnesota getting that far behind. I completely agree, but he did what he had to do in this game. I think this is kind of it was just a it's just a weird start to the season, and I think that we're going to get better, and that I'm going to be optimistic about this because I just think that with everything going on with the COVID thing, and it's just kind of throws a wrench in everything. And this was it kind of felt like a preseason game at first, and it took them a while to get going. And I could be wrong, but I just think this is a building block, and we're going to hopefully it carries through.
Hey, the Bears have not won a first game of the year under Nagy, and they haven't won a first game of the year in a while. I don't remember the exact last time it was, but it has been a minute since we've started off the year with a victory. So, ugly or not, like a win is kind of like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'll take it.
What do you think, Patrick? Who would you say had their best game?
Who do I think had the best game today?
Yeah. Not named Mitch.
Well, that's tough.
It's okay.
I don't know. I mean, Mitch had a hell of a fourth quarter, but they wouldn't have been in that situation in the fourth quarter if he played halfway decent quarters 1 through
Well, that's like Brian said. He dug that hole and then he dug him out. So you want a cookie?
Yeah. I hate to go back to. I give it to Allen Robinson. I mean, he made some catches that, quite frankly, were just off the charts. He's the safety blanket. He's the guy that his routes are pristine. He gets open. He's the safety valve. He's when Mitch is on his first read and it's Allen Robinson, he gets open. There were a couple throws where I saw they showed the film where he dropped back and his eyes were on Robinson the whole time and he got open. Without Robinson, that's why I think it's so critical they resign him. I don't know what this offense is. It's quite frankly pretty terrible. So I give it to Robinson or maybe Miller. I mean, Miller showed up with 3 amazing catches himself. So I would probably give it to one of those 2 guys.
Aaron?
I'm going to give it to J. Long Dong Johnson, the man who came out swinging with his J. Long Dong and look good. You know what I mean? Like, and I think if Galladay did play, I think Jalen locks him up. I don't think Galladay goes with nothing, but he looked confident. This is a guy that barely even practiced in camp. Like, we want to make excuses for other people. Oh, this and that. They're not conditioned, yada, yada, yada. Well, this is a guy that came straight out of college, like, had 10 practices, none of them live, and then is playing in a fucking real game on Sunday and looking every bit the part of a starting outside cornerback for the Bears. Like, that was damn impressive.
He got pretty trucked, and he when Hawkinson had a big catch, he failed to when he came into his zone, he failed to pick him up. There were a couple rookie things, but I think all in all, he was put out.
Overall, though, he was tested at key moments, and I think he stepped up, and he still had the pass breakup at the end of the game, and he almost had a pick. And if he had gotten that pick, I mean, this would be a debut, and shout out to Fuller as well. I mean, that interception, you can't understate how important that interception was. The game turned. That momentum shift was so important for this game.
I'm gonna give my goat to the offensive line just because there were holes. We ran the ball effectively. We ran for 154 plus yards. With running backs, not quarterback runs, nothing too gimmicky.
Yeah, it was 5.3 yards a carry.
Yeah, you got to give
Montgomery.
I'm sorry,
Montgomery 4.9, Cohen 5.9, Trubisky 8.7, Patterson 4.8. You had a 20-yard run from Mitch, a 16-yard run from Cohen, a 10-yard run from Montgomery, a 13-yard run from Patterson. Like. Chunk plays from the run game? Are you kidding me? What kind of fantasy land is that?
I wanted to see Cohen get the ball more too because he was running with purpose and his size. He's hard to see coming through that line, and once he gets that second level, I mean, he only had 7 carries, something like that. Like I would have really liked to see him and Monty get run a little more.
He saw the hole and he hit the hole, and he.
But you saw you saw targets get spread around. Miller 6, Robinson 9, Mooney 3, Graham 7. He only caught 3 of them, which I think will be better. Montgomery with 3 targets. He had the 1 catch for 10 yards. Cohen only targeted twice, had 2 catches for 6 yards. That's not good enough.
And like Damian just said, it is a contract year for Cohen. But having said that, you're gonna make more money consistently playing this way. He was hitting the hole. He wasn't dancing anymore, trying to be Barry Sanders back there.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was going.
He didn't wait for contact he initiated contact.
And same thing with Montgomery. I mean, Jarrett, you got to hand it to Montgomery. Yeah. He looked like a different player in terms of putting his foot in the ground and going, right?
He missed a couple of cutbacks, I thought, early. If he just takes his eyes left, the flow of the linebacker, he could have cut past him. But
right,
I know it's not like Howard.
I mentioned we got the dub and we ran the ball.
Montgomery ran with power today, though. Like I think you can kind of have
for a guy with a groin issue.
Yes,
to come out and do
people
what he did.
Forget sometimes though with running backs is that hitting the hole early is just as bad as hitting it late. Like you have to be in rhythm with the offensive line, and these holes that we act like, look at the size of that hole. It's like if you were seeing it from the view of the running back, you don't see shit from back there. Like we see it from above, and it looks like, oh my god, like look at the size of that hole. But it's like when you're back there, it's just bodies, and you see little slits. Here and there of daylight, and you gotta be in rhythm. Or you run into the back of the guy, or you can run yourself out of a play. So I liked the way that
little slits. Make sure you have your Manscaped on.
Careful.
That's right. Get your J Long dong out, and you see that slit.
Perfect plug, right?
No, but I mean, like, just it was so refreshing to see the offensive line like pick up and go somewhere, and look at the lanes that happened, right? Damian 2063 says it's a contract year for Cohen. For sure. I mean, dude has to play for his money. I'd be very surprised if he's coming back to the Bears. I'll be real honest with you. But
not to sign A-Rod to where you want him to.
Yeah. It is week 1. Let's not overreact. But I was so happy after that win, and then just to relax into like the late window of red zone, like that's just the money Sunday feeling. Victory
Sunday is the best Sunday.
Yes, just like
we just go kick back.
We're gonna take it, and now I'm gonna watch Tom Brady scream and yell, and some other players that are not in Patriots jerseys. But we can talk a little bit about the other stuff that went on in the league. How about the?
Nice. I didn't have time to watch anything else.
I just watched Red Zone. Belichick 1, Brady 0 so far. Belichick, beating the Dolphins is certainly not an accomplishment, but they did it with Cam Newton, who was injured. Right, he ran for 75 yards today with his injured self. But he didn't throw for much. So, I wasn't surprised that happened. Riverboat Ron, shout out to Riverboat Ron, has that defense looking mean in the Washington football team. They were all over the place. The Eagles have no receivers. They have Dallas Goedert and no running backs. But Washington got 8 sacks against the Eagles. Like, that was
How about Jacksonville? Speaking of not having
called that game because Jacksonville has the Colts lose in Jacksonville all the fucking time. First of all, they haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014. As bad as Jacksonville has been, which is one good year, I called that game, and Jacksonville's not as bad as everybody thinks. That C.J. Henderson played his ass off. Gardner Minshew, 19 for 20, 3 touchdowns, 173 yards. James Robinson from ISU. Like, Jags are going to win some games. I'm not saying they're going to the playoffs, but they're not going to roll over like at all.
Here we go. Tighten up's already starting.
Billy Scott, great win for you today, guys. Says, tighten up. Get out of here with that.
Whew, lucky.
We ain't taking your compliments. Tighten up. The Trojan horse. That's what that compliment was. Coming for an invasion. But I mean, go ahead.
Did you guys?
Go ahead.
Did you guys see?
Poor Joe Burrow, man.
All right, let's talk about Mr. You love Joe Burrow. Let's talk about that.
I love Joe Burrow. Since when do I love Joe Burrow?
Man, we got in the argument about it. You think Joe Burrow's like I tried telling you Trevor Lawrence is going to be a better NFL quarterback, and you think Burrow is.
Burrow looked pretty good at times.
He looked that last drive. I just saw the last drive. He looked phenomenal.
And if they don't call that ticky-tack push-off on AJ Green, that's a touchdown right there. And I'm sorry, but like I hate that shit. Like the way they let these guys manhandle each other, and then oh my god, the receiver pushed off a little bit before the. What the fuck? Like I don't really see that problem with that unless the guy completely gets pushed over. Like that was a great play. AJ Green's towing the corner of the end zone, and then it gets taken away, and then the freaking kicker, man, kickers.
Honestly, I wanted to watch other stuff, but my Fitbit was redlining after the fucking game. It's like, what are you doing to yourself? Your heart's gonna explode.
Just remember, I said this, and at the end of their careers, Lawrence will have a better career in the NFL.
All right, there it is. It's on.
Well, okay, without knowing what team he goes to, you're going to say that?
Bro.
What if Trevor Lawrence goes to the Jets? Are you going to be so happy about that?
Yep.
Like, you're sticking with that prediction, even if he goes to the Jets?
You act like Burrow's on the Bengals, man.
Right. They got Joe Mixon. They got AJ Green. Yeah, I mean, they got a couple players.
Lawrence is going to be better, man.
Let's put a bet on it. Wager.
What are we going to bet?
What would you bet?
Brian don't like to bet. He just likes to talk.
Yeah, like how many balls do you want to buy me, Jerry?
Hey,
you backed out of that one.
Yeah, I gave you the chance. You're
like, man, Foles is going to be the starter. I'm going to bet you a bottle of whiskey. Like, dude, just stop. I'm not trying to take your money, bro.
But how do you like being Burrow and go from the king of the world smoking a cigar at the national championship and then being in Cincinnati just like watching
having cigars put out on
like kicker and not only did he miss the kick, but he grabbed his hamstring too. Like, come on. Come on, man.
Legit injury. I texted my buddy. He said he's going to George Costanza that to like 3 different doctors. Who are
called paging Dr. Chow. Please let us know what the outcome of that is. The update: the Browns still suck. Sorry,
it's almost like they shit down their leg.
I mean, like, they had no shot of beating the Ravens. Like, yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, like,
wild dynamic off the field. You got the Cheesecake Factory. You got the Poop Factory.
Well, and speaking of OBJ, he didn't show up at all. He had like nothing happening. 3 catches for 22 yards for our boy. Like that. Rough stuff. Teddy Bridgewater played all right. The Raiders ended up pulling that game out because Jacobs is a beast. 3 touchdowns for Jacobs. How you like that?
The kid can play.
I mean, that's pretty good.
What's going on with the Cowboys and Rams?
The Rams won.
Did they?
The Rams won 20-17.
Always a good day when the Cowboys lose. I don't care. They're right up there with the Packers and the Eagles and the Redskins. People are one by one.
People are trying to put the Cowboys into the NFC Championship game. Like, I don't really see it. They just lost Van Der Esch. I don't know how long he's gonna be out, but he had a collarbone.
They haven't had the same division. NFC East hasn't had the same division champion in the last 5 years.
Right, because it's like 4, 8, and 8 teams every year.
Like, usually it's the Redskins at the bottom, but
I think the here's what I think. I think the Redskins and the Giants are going to be better than people think, and I think the Eagles and the Cowboys are not. I think the Eagles are in for a down year.
Chico's the real deal. I wanted him here. I wanted somebody to back a truck up to him.
I'm glad you're excited about the Jaguars and the Giants, bro, but come on, man.
I'm excited about the Giants. Fuck out of here. I'm not excited about the Giants. I'm just saying. I was
Giants
talking
are
about
gonna have a
other
better year than people
games.
think.
Huh?
Giants are going to have a better year than people think. And the Jaguars, you just love Minshew. You're all about
I do love Minshew. I have unabashed man love for Minshew. No doubt. No doubt. I have a full on man crush on Gardner Minshew. That dude, if he was here, ooh.
Pause.
Mustachioed
Before you break
Minshew.
yourself.
So yeah, anything else we got to cover?
God, I hope not.
I think we hit it all, right?
We've held Patrick hostage long enough.
Yes.
His beard actually grew another 3 inches.
Patrick made himself a cup of tea. He's got his nightcap on, his stocking cap. All the stockings are hung with care. No, that's it. That's it. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for streaming with us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Periscope, Twitter. Bears get the fucking W. You know, like you can call it what you want to call it, but I call it a W. And we're 1-0, and the Vikings are 0-1, and the Lions are 0-1. So we are tied for first place in the division with the dreaded Packers. All is good, you know. Like we'll worry about the rest. It's Victory Monday tomorrow, and there's really, you know, you can't knock us off our stride right now. And the Lions are gonna lion, and it's just another episode of the Tailgate Show.
The Bears.
The undefeated first place Chicago Bears.
You damn right.